Владимир, спасибо большое. Очень интересная, познавательная презентация, да, когда мы сталкиваемся с реальным опытом внедрения, возникают на старте неочевидные задачи и проблемы, которые нужно решать. Вот Владимир кратко поделился 7-летним опытом, хотя я уверен, что ему есть еще что рассказать, и мы могли бы устроить отдельное мероприятие. Кстати, скорее всего, мы сделаем отдельное мероприятие, которое Владимир будет с воркшопами, с техническими делать. Вот, и мы по нему сделаем дополнительную рассылку. Я думаю, весной мы это сделаем. Вот. А тем временем до нас добрался вице-президент в регионе EMEA, Erikjan Franssen, которого Аэрофлот задержал на 5 часов в Тель-Авиве. И сейчас он расскажет о видении Vertica как бизнес-подразделения, как мы видим этот рынок, что сейчас является актуальным с точки зрения бизнес-потребностей. В общем, the floor is yours, Erikjan.
So thank you. And first of all, my sincerest apologies. I was supposed to open this session this morning, but then Aeroflot decided to delay my flight with 5 hours, so I came in a bit late. So that's why I'm now doing this short speech in between us and lunch. So I'll keep it short, but I just wanted to give you a short overview of Vertica, the state of our business, the state of what we're doing here. I think besides the technical track, you might be interested to see what's behind this, how is the company doing. For you that have been with Vertica for a longer time, you might also recognize that we had some takeovers, right? Our company has been moved around for a couple of times, so I'll just spend a few minutes on that state of the business. Well, let me start by giving the good news. Vertica is actually in a really good shape. Not only from a business perspective, but from a technology perspective, from an investment perspective, and from a branding perspective, and from a growth perspective, we're doing really, really well. And as some of you might remember, Vertica started as a standalone company, then we were bought by HPE, then HPE became Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, then we were sold as part of the package to Micro Focus. So there's been a lot of changes there. And the great thing is that under Micro Focus, who might not be a well-known company for having big growth platforms in their portfolio, they love Vertica. And everything that has to do with Vertica is being brought back up, meaning that all our branding is back up. We are present at all the shows. There's massive investments being done in our R&D and our development, and there's massive investments done in our go-to-market. And those investments are paying off. I was here half a year ago, about 6 months ago. In the meantime, we finished our financial year. Vertica as a business overall grew, but especially in EMEA, here, so in the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region, we grew the business by 48%, which is pretty hefty in a year that you get taken over by a new company, like Micro Focus. And not only 48% in terms of total revenue, but also 48% in total in new customers, right? So this is a good position to be in, and that means as we're growing, we're adding resources to the market, we're adding resources from a technical perspective, from a commercial perspective, and from a support perspective. We're working on a lot of improvements. If you look at Vertica in Russia, Vertica in EMEA, as I said, right, we're growing as a business. What we're adding to that, there's some developments that might be of interest to you that we're adding into the market, meaning that we have in our longer term road planning, and I cannot commit to that, to have dedicated support based on this side of the continent, right? So level 4 support, right, on this side of the continent, and no longer to be dependent on the US, right? We have some specific additional resources. You'll see us adding to more events. And we'll make some European-specific use cases as we're landing all these new customers. Vertica in Russia has been particularly good. If you look at the last fiscal year, we've grown our business here by 78%. And if you look at the year before. And for that, for all the customers, prospects, partners in the room, I first of all want to give you a round of applause and thank you for all you've done for me. So that's really, I'm really grateful for that. And the amazing thing is that the traditional growth of Vertica, the traditional market of Vertica, was the hot startups, the online platforms, the online platforming business, and that is still our core market, right? Ed tech, marketing tech, that is still a core market for Vertica. But as you see, especially here in Russia, we're growing in all kinds of industries: banking industry, so financial services industries, regular production and manufacturing. So very interesting names, telco. We're growing across the board, and I think the community that has been generated here by our partners and our local team is amazing. And if you're still considering whether you want to be part of that team, I can invite you to take that leap, because this is a good place to be. And I think that is a couple of things that are quite relevant for you as we go along. Some of the newer developments, and you guys will be talking about this in the technical tracks, but there's some of the things that I can talk about. One of the most relevant here is Vertica earlier last year launched their Eon Mode proposition, where we had the separation of compute and storage. We've launched that. We started with that in cloud because we thought that cloud adopters would be really adapted to that. But we realized that cloud is not everywhere, and especially in markets like this, it is less relevant than anywhere else. Later on this year, again, I cannot commit to a date, you will see Vertica and Eon Mode coming for on-premise installations as well, where we're separating the compute and the storage nodes, and the technical team can tell you a lot more about that and what kind of impact that will have. There's many traditional problems that will get solved by this, and it will, first of all, massively lower your hardware bill. At least that's what I've been told. So this is a great development from a product perspective. On the other side, you will see, and you might see again in the next 2 years, that we'll do some takeovers in the surrounding areas around Vertica, meaning data preparation, data visualization, and there's some activity there. Again, I cannot commit to this. This is financial sensitive information, right? But we are on the path to do some takeovers to complete our ecosystem a bit more, right? To have not only the data warehouse, not only have the database, not only have the built-in analytics, but to also have the surrounding technologies around it, so we can position it more as a solution than we have today. And for sure, over the next while, you'll see some developments there. With the additional investments that we're making in our teams in Cambridge, but also in EMEA as we're growing along, as I just mentioned, we'll probably deploy specific support resources here. So our most advanced customers, or with customers with the most advanced problems, can get high-level support, or not high-level, well, really technical, well-treated support based here. I have taken over in this year, I've taken over the customer success team, which we're building. So meaning that there are resources available in our teams that not necessarily, like other teams, have the intention to sell you more, but really they have the intent to make you successful. And they will be under my control, and we're expanding that team. Also supporting some of the local languages that might be required, especially as we look at the Russian market. Actually, that's it. I want to leave this one by again saying thank you. Thank you for being here all together. I mean, this is amazing for us to see 80 of us in a room, listening to all these tracks, listening to our partners, listening to our technical tracks. That is really heartwarming for us. I mean, this is what I wake up for, and this is what I go to bed for. Thank you for the business that we've done. I'm looking forward to do a lot more here. I told Yevgeny, I now finally, after 3 times, have a multiple entry visa, so I can actually go back without having to go through the whole process again. So I look forward to have a lot more interactions with you. And with that, thank you.
Thank you, Erikjan.